The oilam is very verschlafen. Good morning, Rabbi Isai. Oh, now we can sing a song. So la 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 What day is it? 17th. The 17th. Okay, Shkoya. I'm back in America. It's great to be back. So I'll share with you the story. Some of you heard it, some of you haven't, some of you cheated. You listened to the Hebrew Shir. It took us 28 hours to get home. Why? We're on a flight from Chicago to Austria. And we're supposed to go from Austria to Eretz Yisrael. We're on the flight. And we're in row 14. All of a sudden, there's an announcement. Is there a doctor on the plane? So the doctors come to my row. There's a guy, elderly guy. He's not feeling well, something with his heart. They're around him. They start schmoozing with him. 1 hour, 2 hours. You can't go to sleep. You can't learn. You can't really do much. There's a lot of schmoozing, a lot of tumult. And then he gets up to go to the bathroom. He goes to the bathroom. He comes back, and then he collapses. He's on the floor. They bring out the shocker, and they start shocking him. And they're like, 15 seconds, CPR. They start doing CPR. And we're sitting there, and there's kids, and disaster. And then finally, this machine talks to you. We have one of these machines. It's like, no shock, no this, don't do, no pulse. It's like telling you a live commentary. Anyways, they decide to land in Ireland. He has no pulse, and they land in Ireland. And then they come onto the plane in Ireland. They don't let anybody get up. You're not allowed to get up, you're not allowed to go to the bathroom, you sit in your seat. They come in, and they start working on this dead guy for over an hour. And then they say, oh, he's dead. Okay, fine. And they take him off in front of everybody. And it's a whole matzah. And then, of course, we miss our connecting flight. So we end up in Cyprus. And then, Baruch Hashem, we made it here, 1 a.m. But we're back. We're happy to be back. The crazy thing is that this is the second time it happened to me and my wife. On our row, the time was the guy right in front of us. Now it's on our row. Both guys were Austrian descent or whatever. In their 70s. I don't know what it means exactly. Lamai cigarette, you could say it's a killer daf. That's what you could say maybe. We're a killer daf. That's it. I can't, you got something better? If you're Austrian. What? Oh yeah, we're getting there. All right. Rabbi Isai, Hayoim Chamisha so Yoim Shem Shnei Shavuos v'Yoim Echad Ba'imer Loimer Lili Nishmas Sarah Aleh Shalom Bas David, a 10-year-old girl. It was great seeing in Chicago says Mr. Official Gross. When a term is used incessantly, such as sale, best, new, improved, etc., it loses its luster. The pun, a Vitcher marketing term for this phenomenon, is known as a semantic saturation. The same is true. I have no idea what he's talking about. I'm just reading for you guys that understand English. The same is true when everyone with a talus is called a rabbi, and anyone who might be a legitimate rabbi is upgraded to a rabbi going. This is known as title inflation. As Gilbert and Sullivan wrote in the 19th century, when everyone is a somebody and no one's an anybody. While we're all week regarding the Machzah Shekel, there's definitely a pecking list in the Mishnah which prioritizes kibudim and who gets saved first. Kohen Gadol Amaritz versus Mamzet Amud Chacham Ayin Sham. Wishing everyone tzlach and reaching their own potentials. It's about the Yomi, Mr. Official Gross. Ariel, we said this already. Mazel Tov to our MDY or Willie Balk of Englewood, New Jersey, on the birth of a baby girl. Mazel Tov. See a lot of rachas. Willie was very instrumental. He came to the final push in Muncie when we were at the charity event, and he got somebody on the phone and got like $10,000 from the guys. It was Givaldig, Yishkoyach Willie. The Masechta is sponsored by Anonymous for the safe and speedy return of all the hostages. Prensa Chodesh, nishmas Zechariah ben Moshe, nishmas Chaya bas Yosef. Prensa Yoim, Rafi Hecht, nishmas Ettel Malka bas Avraham Moshe olav shalom. Here we go. The Zoomers are on. Prensa Yoim, Prensa Azach b'shefel zivig Hogan b'korv Moshe Chil ben Freda Leah Amen. Prensa Yoim, Shprintzy and Avrumie Gross, in honor of our daughter's wedding tonight. Chana Gross and Pinny Levine all are invited to attend the wedding tonight at Ateres Chynka. It's Chynka. Ateres Chynka in Brooklyn, New York. And by Yochanan Itzkowitz in memory of my wife's mother. nishmas Rosh bas Yochanan Itzkowitz Oleha Shalom. And the MDY headquarter coffee corner week. This art of the month, Avi. You need to.
Everybody's okay. I looked into it.
The baby's okay?
Everybody's okay.
So I'm not saying this anymore, right? No. It's a good thing I stopped saying it 3 days ago. MDY headquarter coffee. The kid is like 3 years old right now. Everybody's invited to the upsharing. MDY headquarter coffee corner week. Vladislav Zakharov in the schut that I finally find the job. I received the email. You saw that, Yosef? There's an email that somebody offered this guy, like, you did? Good, Givaldik. All right, we are back. Noam asked me yesterday, why did these stories always happen to you? So it happens to be that my sons were also right there, but they didn't even notice what was going on. I had to say, hey, by the way. So some people don't notice things. But I guess Akash Baruch Hu sends stories my way. So I have something to tell the Ilam. No? You don't want to go on trips with me? No. All of you already did once. We didn't have any great mices, did we? Nothing interesting.
Great defines by death.
Great, like something to say over. Everybody see we're holding on the bottom of Samach Tes Amud Beis, all the way on the bottom. We were talking about a special halacha when it comes to a ship. If you rent a ship, in addition to the rental of the ship, you pay a little bit. Here's a couple of pictures here of a guy with a ship. Here's, if you cause any damage to the ship, you have to pay for that as well. Omar Papa Hilchas Svina Agra Ufagra. It's a little bit of a contradiction, because if you're responsible for damage of the ship, then you're like a borrower. If you're paying for the entire ship, you're paying for its value, plus you're paying rent, that could be a problem of ribis l'chayro. But as we explained yesterday, it's not such a big issue, because we're dividing it. You're not taking responsibility for everything. You're taking responsibility for the end if there's damage. In other words, it's like we said yesterday, like a cow. If you take responsibility after it dies, okay, that you can separate that. You're not saying you're taking responsibility on the entire cow. If it dies, you can take both. It's not considered ribis. V'nagu b'nei kufra. So Rashi says kufra means tar. So since they would coat the outside of the boat with tar, so they call them these ship owners were called b'nei kufra. V'nagu b'nei kufra agra b'shas mashicha. Here's agra b'shas mashicha would be right over here. You have to pay the rental fee up front, and we know zchirus eino ela basoif. So it's a little bit against what we do. You have to, by the way, before I forget, I have to give a tremendous mazel tov to our Chavriya Koilo that took the Dirshu test on 1800 daf. It just, these numbers, we keep on saying, and next Yantif, they do it every, Pesach and Sukkot. It's another 150, another 100. And we're like, last time we said 1500. 1800 daf on a Dirshu test, not a test, a Dirshu test. I can't explain to you how hard. You cannot talk to these guys when they're done with the test. Their brain is literally fried. It's hours upon hours, I don't know how many, maybe 8 hours of intense concentration, intense. There's no learning, there's no nothing. It's like complete meltdown. Like they work like Meshuggah. So I want to give them a tremendous mazel tov. And not only that, I know that some of them got from the highest scores in the world. In the world, maybe even the highest in the world. So, I'm not in this particular test, but in the past test, I know the Belzer, I know my Chavrusa gets 99s consistently. So, a tremendous, very, very proud to be. They sit here and they learn in this base marriage every day. It's a big, big schos to be. The Belzer was here. They work on it. They work the whole year on it. It's not like, the test comes up. They have program of Chazara all day, every day, and that's one of the people I'm very, I should say, the most proud of, probably in the Koil, is Eliyahu Jacobs, because he doesn't come with that brain that the Belzer has and Mechavruz has. He wasn't born with a photographic memory. Some of these guys, Eliakim has a tremendous Baal Kishron. He's a regular, average guy that works extremely, extremely hard. He's here to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, from 9 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he eats a sandwich in between. So you can come here every day, see him just chazrin. They did. Okay, it should give us all chizuk. That's why I'm saying the story. 1800 daf, I think anybody could do it. Because when I met Eliyahu, he's in a daf koilo, but when we took over the koilo, we switched it into doing these dirshu tests, and very proud of it. All right. And if it breaks, if the ship breaks like this, then you pay. There's a story about Reb Shamash ben Fol Hirsch. For some reason, he ended up by this Chalukas Habayis of some sort of a reform shul. And one of the things they said, "No, how is it?" He said, "It's mamish. The shul is mamish like Noach's teva." He says, "Why?" Because it says mebayis umchutz ba'koifer. There's koifrim inside and outside. We're back. Says the Gemara, okay, it's a minhag, right? You could say a lot of minhagim jokes over here. It's a minhag. So what if it's a minhag? Or to be minhag Italian milsa, we're saying, okay, these ship owners, they have a minhag that they do it wrong. So what? It doesn't make it right. Says the Gemara, no. It's the opposite. Not because it's a minhag, that's why we say it's mutter. Because it's mutter, it became a minhag. Mishum de masnisa tanya. Once we say in the Bryce like that, then it becomes a minhag. Nu sugi Rabbi say Omer Avanon, Omer Shmuel. I'm telling you, I seriously. Is there anybody here? First of all, let's say this. If you missed a lot of dapim during Pesach and you fell behind, it's not a big deal. If you're here, we're going weiter. We could start in Daf Ayin. The new sugyas, it's as if nothing happened. You don't need to know what happened yesterday. We could start from today. I personally do not understand the whole commotion over Ezu Neshech and why people say, wow, it's unbelievable. I don't see it. What? Why are you smiling? Specifically you, why? You find it difficult?
Some of the dapim, there's a couple of dapim that are like, give you a headache.
Okay. So it's like more than Hazav, more than what we had in Baba Kama. It's going to be so complicated. Let's see today's daf. In fact, we have a little bit of Agata and a little bit of Agata tomorrow. Shema. I was here. As a Neshech, I wasn't here. Even where I wasn't. I'm not here now. You understand? I got home at 1 o'clock in the morning. We didn't go to sleep until 2. Omer Havana, Omer Shmuel, Moishel Yisoymim Mutter Lahalvoisam Beribis. Okay, brand new halacha, seriously, brand new sugya. You have a Yasim Nebuch, lost his father. He has no money. What do? Let's try to take the father's money and invest it. Lend it out to people. They can live off the interest. If not, what's going to happen? The Yasim won't have any money tomorrow. A few years go by until the Chasen, it won't be anything. It makes no sense what you're saying. Safinalu Isura, you're going to feed them Isurim? Now listen to this, Rabbi said this is scary stuff. I guess Rav Nachman wanted to show how serious he was about this. So he says, Yasmin da achla de lavdidu leizlu basashivkayu. A yasim who eats something that he doesn't deserve, interest, they should go and visit their father. They should go be buried. In other words, it's impossible for Yasim to take ribbis. What are you talking about? And therefore, Omar Le, so he tells Rav Onan, Emily izu gufa duvdei chava. My friend, tell me what you heard. It's impossible that Shmuel said, you heard Allah from Shmuel, oh, you're allowed to take ribbis from Yosef. No. V'ais'tacha is there was some sort of story that happened, and you inferred from the story that you're allowed to take ribbis from Yosef. Yeah, that he's involved in ribbis. Give him ribbis. He gives his money and he gets back ribbis. There was Yisaimim, the sons of Mar Ukva, that had a dud. Here, something like this, a copper dud, copper vessel. The Bnei Mar Ukva, the have a bay Mar Shmuel. Mar Shmuel took care of this. Now, it just so happens to be, I learned Avodah Zarah many times. I don't remember, but in Avodah Zarah, there's a sugya over there where you do Hagalas Kalim, you take a kli and you put it into another kli that's, with boiling water. So it says over there that Mar Ukva had a kli that was so large, you couldn't fit into any other kli. It was the giant kli. So you couldn't do Hagalas Kalim to it. Okay. Perhaps this is what he's renting. Like, why else is he renting? You don't have a pot at home. You go to the pot rental place. No. Sometimes you need a giant kli. So you go to him. He has this giant one. He would weigh it on a scale. In those days it was different. They operated differently. Today you buy a pot and that's it. You can use it 1,000 times. No. You buy a pot made out of copper. You only have a certain amount of times you can use it. Every time you use it, first of all, some of the copper melts away. So right there and then you have a problem. So you have to weigh it. You weigh it. It weighed 25 pounds when you rented it. It comes back, it's 24 pounds. The renter owes 1 pound of copper. Takov is shokole, and then when he got it back, he would weigh it again and see the difference. Shokol agra v'shokol pchasa. He would take a rental fee and would take a fee for the missing copper. As the Gemara agra loy pchasa, if you're taking a rental fee, you can't take the depreciation of, not the depreciation, that's the wrong word because I want to use it soon. You cannot take the missing copper. V'pchasa, if you're going to take from the missing, how do you say it? What is a better? The loss of the copper. Loss of the copper is better. V'pchasa, No, that's in the second. V'pchasa loyagra. And if you're going to take the loss of the copper, again, it went from 25 pounds to 24 pounds of copper, you can't take rental. Why? Once again, we're talking about ribbis. Again, hold on. Well, you'll see why I'm bothered by this next word. Again, throughout Ezuneshach, we had this idea that if you take responsibility, then once you take responsibility, I can't charge you on top of that. If you take responsibility for loss, then I cannot charge you rent. If you're a renter, then there's no loss. So you can't jump on two chazanas. I can't say you're a shoyel, plus you have to pay rent. If you're a shoyel and you take all responsibility, so anything that you pay above that responsibility, that's already ribbis. Omar lei.
Why is that the case?
Why is it considered?
Oh, so that's what the Gemara is going to answer. I see what you're saying. Omar lei ki ha afilu b'dikani nami shar lemebad. You're wrong. If that's the case, don't prove from here anything about ribbis by Yisaimim, because even adult Yisaimim, those with beards, and over here, beards is not a joke. We're not saying there's actually la halacha brought down beards. In other words, there's a kid that's 12 years old, there's a kid that's 13 years old, he's ready to bar mitzvah, he doesn't have a beard. But that la halacha, that's not when he's a businessman. A businessman when he has a beard. When he starts, now he's an adult. He's an 18-year-old bardas. You look at our 13-year-olds, do you think they can do business? A 14-year-old could do business. Kid with a beard, maybe 18, 19-year-old. Oh. So he's saying even an adult, you're allowed to do this. Why? There's two problems here. There's the devaluation of the pot. Every time you use it, it goes down in value. But there's also the loss of the copper. And the loss of the copper is something that you have to pay on the side. So there's two things. And in Mela, that's not ribbis. Don't prove anything from that story. You're permitted to lend out the money so that the Yisraelim can make some profit. If the Yassim is guaranteed a lot of profit and very little loss, which is the worst way to do it for regular two people, if they do that, that is basically ribis. When you're guaranteeing somebody, what is ribis? I'm guaranteeing you a return on your money. So if I'm telling you that you are guaranteed mainly profit and very little loss, that's basically ribis.
Not a lot of profit. First loss. In low risk investments. It doesn't matter how much profit, so long that I could tell you
you're going to get little. I wanted to say like that, but it's not really like that. It's not high. You're taking a little bit of the loss, a lot of the profit. More profit than loss. Okay. Not a high risk in that, but okay. We'll see in a second. All right, Sheshes. Torah Banon. When two individuals, not a Yassim, we said we could do it with a Yassim because we want to give him money. We're going to explain a little bit later why, maybe towards the last line in the Amud. But two individuals that they do a deal where he has high profit, low loss. The reverse, if you do a lot of, you take upon yourself loss and very little gain, you're chassid. You lend out money and you say, I will take a little profit and a lot of loss. I take upon myself most of the loss and take a little profit. It's chassid. If it's 50-50, either profit and loss, a lot of profit, a lot of loss, or rochik mizeh, a lot of loss, a little loss and a little profit. This is what people do. You were talking about more like here at Israel. There's this thing like they'll sell you luction, right? Especially to people that are not naive people without internet or whatever. They'll say, listen, we have a nice property in Dimona. It's right now you can get it $100 per dunam. We're going to build 1,000 apartments on it. And you're going to become a millionaire. That's rochek l'schar b'karev lehefsid. But they tell you the opposite. They tell you it's mamish. In 2 weeks there's a tava. 2 weeks. Tell you, I know the government. I spoke to the guy. It's mamish happening. Stay away. Rabbi says, stay away. Amalei Rabba l'Rav Yosef. The bottom line is, what do we do when we have a nebuch yasim? What do we do? How do we take care of his money? We put it together bezdin, and we give them what they need to eat as they need to eat. $1 here, $1 there. But at the end of the day, there's not going to be any money left over. You're not talking about gazillionaire here. You're talking about a regular average guy that died. He left over $10,000. What are you going to do? Eventually, there's not going to be any money left. So what do you do? This is mamish easy. A lot of people have this. Here, something like this. You have a guy that has just a few bars of gold or whatever, pieces of gold. The point of this gold is that it has 0 siman. Every piece looks the same. So no one gave it to him as a deposit or anything because you cannot differentiate between them. So if this guy has some dahava pricha, v'naktin dahava minei, we take some gold from him, and then we give him the money that he should give the Yisayimim, mostly profit, very little loss. Only if he has gold. Now I'm not saying that this is what it means. Like gold more means it means like pieces of gold. But the bottom line is, do not use a watch, a car as your collateral. Why? Dilma pikadininu. Perhaps it's not even his. He takes their money. He gave Bezdin in return a car. It's not even his car. It's somebody else's car that the guy gave it to him as a deposit. The owner will come and take it away. Very easy to find these guys that have a lot of gold sitting around. What if you don't find? So if this is your best advice, you have to find a guy with a lot of gold. And if your neighborhood, right here in this neighborhood, it's not like this is a poor neighborhood. Nobody in this neighborhood has a bunch of bars of gold sitting around. So what do you do over here? Nebuch. So the Yasim is going to lose his money. El Amar Ravashi Chayzinon Gaver the Mishapu Nichsei Umehemen. Actually, I just remembered there was a whole video of they went into Gaza, into this guy's house. It's part of Hamas, and there's bars of gold. They're sitting on gold over there, right? You know what I'm talking about? Gold, and then I don't want to say that Rosh's name. His sister was arrested in Israel. She had a lot of gold chains and a lot of gold stuff. Okay, people that have extra money, they have a lot of gold sitting around. So what do you do? But what if you can't find something like that? Take a guy that has real estate and that has no ear, nobody. There's no rumors about his real estate. It's his. Umehemen. He's a honest person. And he listens to halacha and to din Torahs. And he never had a chayrim against him. And again, we do this deal of karov l'sachar, karov lehefsid, no, karov l'sachar v'rochi lehefsid. And we do this in Bezdin. Says Rashi, very interesting, we have to come on to this. Hefker, Bezdin, Hefker. Basically, Bezdin say, listen, it's not ribbis. It's not a ribbis payment, says Rashi. It's Bezdin taking away your money and giving it to the assignment. All right. Brand new sugya, Daf Amud Beis, sponsored by Kidnovations. Oh, I didn't put it in. You have to remind me. You have it? You have the Lashon?
I have it printed out, my printer.
Thank you. Like this one. No, you're the one that gave me this.
It changes tomorrow, but this new one is going to be here.
Okay, shkoyach. In honor of my uncle, Reb Elchanan Pressman, and his chus for Akiva Simcha Ben Feiga, in honor of the Lemans for sponsoring Sfarim for the daily Ner Tamid learning by official, and by the Gorsman brothers for the yahrzeits of our grandfathers, a chaver Moshe ben Yerachmiel Shalom, and a Rav Eliezer Moshe ben Reb Shema Zatzal. All right. In shkoyach to my shver got on a plane yesterday. He thought that my son Akiva, who was by us yesterday, whenever it was, when we left America, and he flew to Los Angeles. He got to Los Angeles, throwing up a lot. So my shver got on a plane, flew to Los Angeles to bring him to the ER. Baruch Hashem, I think he's okay, but he's a very dedicated grandfather. Says, yeah, Bamas, this is on top of, he has to do surgeries and everything, but he just takes off a day. If that's what the grandchild needs, that's what he needs. Zok Tehelig Mishnah. Sponsored in recognition of myself and of all the MDY Chevra. Again, I'll mention because I don't know if you guys were watching or not, but Mark Ashkenazi was up with me every single day in America. It was 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning, didn't matter. Motzei Shabbosim, because I did two shiurim, the English and the Hebrew, usually ended after 1 in the morning. Many times, Fridays, Chalamayid, Erev Pesach. Erev Pesach, he was with me on the computer until Yontif. So, tremendous shkoyach. Kishboch should pay him back, but there's a lot of shkoyach. There's a lot of people. Oh, here he is. He's vacation time. Go to sleep. I'll see you in 3 months. I'll be back in Chicago, unfortunately, in the summer. All right. Zok the Heilige Mishnah. Mekal and Mamshatzad like that on the thing. Switching the charts and the whole thing. All right. And Mikhail and Soyin Basil. Oh, so I'll explain for 10 seconds. There's because the charts go on together with me and there's my face, the charts, this, that. So there's a program behind the scenes. I don't even know how to do it. I don't know how to set it up. So you have to set it up and it goes on YouTube and Zoom and it combines everything together. And when I push the button here, the chart goes on. Sometimes I put the chart on and I forget it and I keep on talking. And then I see that he moves me, puts me back in, switches it, so he has to be there the entire year. So we discussed this. So in Barzel, fancy word of saying that it's a guaranteed sheep. In other words, it usually happens secured sheep. I'm the same Barzel. Yeah. Okay, we're not on top of things. I'm a shepherd. I guarantee the owner full refund on all his sheep. I look at all the sheep. I say, you have $100,000 worth of sheep. In a month from now, I will give you $100,000 for all the sheep that you gave me. Now, if a wolf comes and eats up half the sheep, if a storm comes and kills them, if it's too cold and they die, I'm giving you $100,000. So he takes full responsibility. Full responsibility, plus He's sharing profits of the sheep, 50-50 with the owner. What is that called? Ribis. He's taking full responsibility, plus he's giving him. So the guy gave him $100,000, and the guy gets back $110,000 if there's profit. So that's why that if makes it a vak ribis. It makes it a derabbanan ribis. Because if it was guaranteed 110, that's ribis ktsutza, that's ribis doiraisa. Right? Ribis ktsutza means ribis doiraisa, a vak ribis means ribis derabbanan. The fact that it's an if makes it a little better. So here's, I pushed it too early. Let's do that again. Here we go. He gives. No, tzadach is something else. I know what you're saying. No, it makes it avak. Okay, so they split the profits. He gets his 200 back plus 25 profit. That's a problem. You could do this to a non-Jew. Why? Because it says in the Torah, right? So we're going to see. You're allowed to borrow from a non-Jew with interest. So you could lend them biribis. So too, somebody like so that has the Sheva mitzvahs b'nei noyach, you could lend and borrow from. You, the Jew, borrowed from a non-Jew money and you're paying interest. You could go ahead and give that over to another Jew. However, you have to have permission from the non-Jew, because if you cut the non-Jew out of this, then it turns out that you are giving the loan from Jew to Jew, and that's also again, you borrow from a non-Jew. That's mutter with ribis. You went to a non-Jewish bank, you took out a loan. You cannot take that loan. Let's say you leased a car. I don't know, whatever, something like that. So you want to transfer your lease to somebody else. That's a problem. You say, well, I'm paying him, so he'll just pay. No, it came out that I'm giving you a loan and so it looks like I'm giving you the loan. So you have to have the guy involved there. So on the first part of the Mishnah, that it's Tzoyim Barzel, when you guarantee a return, you take the sheep, usually it's done with sheep. I'm taking your $100,000 worth of sheep, I'm going to give you back $100,000. I'm guaranteeing you the $100,000 plus profits. That's ribis. Remember, so it seems like that the shepherd, the Jewish shepherd, he is in charge over here. It like the sheep are like his. He took full responsibility. If so, if that's the case, so if the owner of these sheep is a non-Jew, it should turn out that you're the full owner. You're the one taking full responsibility. So these vladas should be considered yours, and you should have to give the firstborn to the kohen. If the non-Jew accepts upon himself any kind of mishap, and if it goes down in price, he takes the responsibility, then it's considered the non-Jews. So what's the obvious question? That's not Tzoyim Barzel. Tzoyim Barzel means that the Jew takes responsibility. If the owner takes responsibility, it's no longer Tzoyim Barzel. Why is that considered Tzoyim Barzel? Why are you telling me two cases? Asked the Gemara, the classic question. You tell me a case of a Jew and a case of a non-Jew. Just tell me two cases of a Jew. There's a case of a Jew that the owner takes full responsibility. Therefore, you don't give a b'char. It's the owner's. But when you, the shepherd, take full responsibility, then you do give a b'char. You, the shepherd, has to give a b'char. Why are you involving a guy here? I live with the day. Says Rava. Must be that in order, we're talking about Tzoyim Barzel. So Tzoyim Barzel means that the owner gives over $100,000 worth of sheep to the shepherd. The shepherd takes full responsibility to $100,000. And they divide the profit. You're asking me, if that's the case, why isn't the Jew chayav in the b'char? Right? It's his animals also. He's getting 50% of all babies. So why doesn't he have to give any of them to the b'char, to the kayit? The reason is there's a new yisai there, Rabbi Yisai. There's something called tzad Yad Nochri Be'emtza. That if the guy is somewhat involved over here, that gives it a p'tur, there's no b'char. If the guy has the right to come over and say, I have a lien here on the animal, you didn't pay me, whatever, and I'm going to starts grabbing your animals and you can't do anything about it. If that's the case, you don't have to give b'char. Even though it didn't happen yet, and you might pay him off nicely and he'll never come and grab your newborn animals. Nevertheless, he's involved over here, he has some sort of lien over here, there's no b'char. If you don't pay him up, he'll come start grabbing the adults. If he doesn't find larger animals, he'll take whatever he get his hand on. The hand of the guy is involved. New halacha that we didn't know yesterday. Anytime there's the ability of the guy to come and grab some of your animals, just that ability makes you potter from Bechar. Rabbi say we have a little bit of, for those who say that Ezu Neshech is difficult, a little bit of Agadita. Mar b'hoinoi b'neshech v'tarbis, somebody who increases his wealth through interest, Neshech and Tarbis, l'choinin dalim yikipitzeno. At the end of the day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to take your money and give it to the poor. Is there any chiddush in this? Not really. You could assume that anytime you do an Avera, you're not going to gain from the Avera. So what's the big chiddush? So says the Gemara, Maila Choinin Dalet. Omerav Kigoin Shover Malka. We're talking about King Shover Malka. Oh, she did something over here. Shover Malka would give money to the poor. Actually, the Marsha says not like this picture. The Marsha says, how did he give? He was a Persian king. Like the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, all the way in the beginning of Avodah Zarah, that the Persians, they built bridges. So that was giving to the poor. You build bridges for, Danim used to use, I guess, that's considered giving to the poor. Omer Rav Nachman, Omer Lihuna, Le'nitzucha Ela, Dafilu Ribis, Da'ovikachavim. Huge bomb here. If you receive money from a non-Jew, interest payments, Hashem will take that money away from you and give it to the poor. But what's the question? Everybody's bothered. I thought you're allowed to take money from a guy. What about all the years the non-Jews hated the Jews? Why? Because we were always in the ribbis business. No, we always owned the banks. They're not allowed to do it. We did it and we took advantage. What's going on here? It says in the pasuk, Lanochri Sashich. You should buy a Nochri in interest. My Sashich, Lav Tishaych. Doesn't it mean you should take interest from him? Loi Tashich. That the guy could take from you. You're allowed to take a loan from a guy. Okay, that's also a big chiddush. Not that you lend money to the guy, that you borrow money from the guy. At interest, with interest payments. That's okay. As the Gemara, what? It says in the Torah that you should take money from a guy and pay him interest. What the Torah is mechayiv you to take money on with interest. And if I don't want to give a guy interest, I want to take a non-interest loan from a Jew, from a Gemach, I can't do that. It seems like the Torah is mechayiv you. La nochri sashich, that you should. There's a mitzvah. Go take all your money that you have, give it to the guy. Take money from a guy and pay him interest. Why? Says no, that's not what the Torah means. La puki achicha deloi. It means that another Jew is not allowed to take from you. Only a guy is allowed to, not you, not another Jew. Says Gemara, it says before in the Torah that two Jews are not allowed to take interest from each other. Says Gemara, laver olav ba'asei v'lo yisasei. What does it say in the Torah? The Torah says la nochri sashich, that there's a mitzvah asei, la nochri sashich. So there is a concept. Here it is. Lav habo mechlal asei. We're going to be medayik. La nochri sashich, but a Jew loy sashich. Only there's la nochri yes and la Jew loy. So that's a lav that came from an asay, and any lav, any no that came from a yes has the halacha of a yes. So in Melo we have two isurim for taking ribis, an asay and a loy asay. Eisvei, loivin mehem umavim moizim. In our Mishnah, on top of the Amud over here, it says 3 lines down that you're allowed to borrow from a guy and you're allowed to lend to a guy. Beribis, it says mefurish in the Mishnah. V'chein beger toishav, and it says in the Mishnah also ger toishav. Amar Rav Chia b'reider Ravuna lo nitzrucha elo b'chdei chayav. You're permitted to take ribis from a non-Jew only to survive, not to be profitable and make a lot of money. That's one pshat. Not brought down la halacha yet. Oh yeah, it is. Elo b'chdei chayav. Ravina Amar, hacha b'tamid chacham askinon. We're talking about tamid chacham. Time I goes Rabbanon. Oh, stop, before we go there. Rashi over here says that b'chdei chayav means because if you take more than b'chdei chayav from a guy, you start profiting from a guy, then you might come to take ribis from a Jew. It's a xeria to do it what? You get used to it, exactly. Ravina Omar, another pshat, a Tam Chacham could take ribis from a guy. Time I goes Rabbanon Shamilu Masov. Before you guys jump up, I have to tell you, Mordig Aloch Lamaisa. So he's already jumping. Are you allowed to take ribis from a guy? Yes or no? We see that Jews always were in the business. So how are they allowed to do it? It seems like from the Gemara, b'chdei chayav, a little $10 a day. What's b'chdei chayav? Enough to have a sandwich and a cup of water. What's b'chdei chayav? Doesn't mean to pay for your rentals and your cars and your vacations.
It's not relative.
No, it's not relative. B'chdei chayav, to survive in an airport with a little a potato chip. That's what it means. So, and it says a second later, only Tamid Chachamim. So who could do it? Oh, all those bank owners are Tamid Chachamim? The Rockefellers, whoever they were. Well, who are the bank owners? So, Nachamal, the Gemara. So let's just read this line and then I'll tell you what it says La Halacha in Taisvus and in the Tur. Taimai goes around Banan. Shema Yilmoid Mimasav. The whole idea is because if you're only dealing with Goyim all day long, you have 0 Jewish clients because you're a bank that only lends to non-Jews. The Jews can't come to you. We're not concerned about a Jew learning, a Talmid Chacham learning from his ways. Says the Tur, says Taisus, la halacha l'maisa, and he's passing like this. That since today we are so involved with the guy anyway, so we're mutter to lend to and borrow to a guy without worrying b'chlal, lending to a guy, and we don't have to worry about it even more than the Kedei Chayav, even if you're not a Talmid Chacham. Rabbi Sai, huh? Hold on. Have a wonderful day. What?